Kirk Cousins and his status with the team has been much discussed. Shows like this, shows around the country. What are your 2 cents on his no trade clause and what your team would be willing to do? Possibly, any thoughts on that front, Kevin?
Yeah, I really, Rich, I don't have any thoughts, as it pertains to any of those kind of outside the building speculations. I just know my dialogue daily, minute to minute with Kirk, his preparation for our games, his performance so far this year. Kirk and I came into this season in complete lockstep that I wanted it to be the best season that maybe he's ever had in this league. And that's saying something with all the things that Kirk Cousins has been able to accomplish, as a quarterback in the NFL. And I think he's gone about it from the very beginning of the offseason program through training camp and each and every week as, one of our core leaders, clearly our leader on offense, from a standpoint of getting us, play in and play out to where we want to be schematically, but also just his presence, his overall positivity that he attacks everything with, unbelievable preparation and routine that goes into a Kirk Cousins game week. And he's been ultra consistent and really our dialogue has not touched on anything outside of that throughout the whole season. And Kirk knows how I feel. I've really felt about him from the first time I was able to coach him in Washington. And it's been a really great experience for me to have him here, over the first 20, however many games it's been now, 24, 25 games. And, I hope we get to play a lot more together.
Well, that drum beat only got louder after Justin Jefferson got hurt. I mean, so just one more crack at it here. How do you handle the outside noise? How do you deal with such things, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm never going to be somebody that ignores some of those things because I know our players may be hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
They may be discussing it. I've been in that locker room before. So I'm going to over communicate. I'm going to try to give our guys, equip them with my thought process and my mentality. And then I'm going to circle it all the way back always to controlling the things that we can control, our preparation, our daily habits, what we do to, kind of empower and uplift each other. And my job as the head coach and play caller and, really wanting to be there for 53 guys and 16 guys on the practice squad is a full-time thing where I don't have a lot of time, to be quite honest, Rich,
mm-hmm.
to spend, assessing each individual thing that might be out there from whatever source that may come from. But I also respect the fact that people have jobs to do and those types of conversations, considering some of the factors of our season. I understand that as well. But ultimately, my job is to get us ready to go each week and make sure the Minnesota Vikings are continuing to progress and improve because the results, quite honestly, haven't been where we wanted early on in this season, and there's a lot of football out in front of us.
Now, does it piss you off that people even suggest you might throw in the towel, Coach?
You know what? It does not
Okay.
Because, like I said, if I was spending time and energy being upset about those things, that's taken away from things that are far more important with my staff and my players.
How is Justin doing that you're willing to share?
Yeah, he's doing really well. He was just, we just got in from our walkthrough not long ago, and he was working over on a side field. And, I know he feels, maybe a lot better than they initially thought he would, just from an overall feeling standpoint. But it doesn't surprise me. He's one of the most gifted special athletes I've ever been around. But it's very important that he, commits, which he has, to the rehab process. He's still in every meeting as we're installing plays, and I'm sitting up in front of the room still feeling like he's engaged as ever, and sits right there next to Jordan Addison. And it's just awesome to see the leadership role and kind of that mentorship that he's had with Jordan really since he first stepped foot in our facility. So all of those things are still ongoing. The only thing that we're missing right now is having the best receiver in football in our offense. So we're trying to overcome that. We're confident in our group. But it does give me a lot of confidence knowing that Justin's all in on a daily basis.
Yeah, I have Jordan Addison in fantasy, Kevin, so I'd target him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? There's
smart pick by you.
Well, I mean, I've got a keen sense, and there's an eye in Rich Eisen, so I literally just said that to a head coach in the National Football League in the minutes I have with you.
That's good stuff, man.
Is that a reason why you IR'd Justin, though, as you knew that he'd probably want to come back sooner and you kind of saving him? make sure?
I just think, outside of trying to diagnose and assess injuries myself, just, knowing the timeline that we thought it would be based upon multiple opinions, it just made sense to allow him to with the short-term IR being what it is, anytime it's around that 4-week range at a minimum, and you can use that as a tool to not only help your roster maybe elsewhere, elsewhere in that receiver room during that time. You can also use that as a tool to make sure that we're all just being smart about what's best for Justin and his health and his future of doing the things that he's done in this league and will continue to do. But at the same time, knowing how competitive he is, and it means a lot to him to have a C on his chest for the first time in his career. And I think all of that leads you to believe that when the time's right, Justin's going to be back out there for us, and I can't wait to have him.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.